Trudy Mason sitting in for Aaron, and we are talking now about lifestyle creep. This is an interesting phenomenon, and here to tell us more about when it tends to happen, and it probably has happened to the vast majority of people, uh, is our guest, Hans Friedrich, financial advisor at Sunya Life, managing partner of Evolv Financial Solutions. Hans, thanks very much for joining us on CJD.
Hey, Trudy. Thanks so much for having me on.
What is lifestyle creep?
That's a good question. So lifestyle creep, we pretty much experience it all. All of us, usually have that word lifestyle creep coming through us at least once in our lifetime. And usually what happens is that your income goes up over time. And usually your income goes up if we take a regular inflationary number of 2%. Every year you get a raise. Every second year you get a raise. But what happens is that your overall lifestyle expenditure and your lifestyle spending creeps up as your income does as well. And so it always seems like you're kind of running behind. I think we're making more money and, I've received a raise, but it doesn't seem like I'm actually able to put more money into my bank account, into my savings account. So really our lifestyle kind of always raises to our income and we don't really feel like we're getting ahead. That's kind of, the overall definition of lifestyle creep, I would say.
It is interesting that you often hear people who have salaries who you'd think they'd be quite comfortable saying,
right,
why can't I get ahead? Why can't I save anything? Is it really they need a hard look at some of the extras they're spending on that over the years they've come to accept as just ordinary expenses?
Yeah, I think so. And, people go to school, they have, let's say, student debt, they save, they put money away. And then when they finally get a raise, usually the first thing that they think of is, hey, let's get that new subscription to Amazon Prime, or, let's get that new car. Our car is older, we need to upgrade it. That's usually kind of the first thought that people have. They don't really sit down and say, hey, let's take X percentage of that and put that into our RSP or TFSA account, or put it into the investment account, or increase our payment to the mortgage. And that's usually how that comes about. So I think usually the best thing is to kind of keep that top of mind, and maybe even use someone as an accountability partner. That might be your spouse, it might be advisor, your friends. We can say, hey, I've just received this raise at work. Let's actually sit down and figure out what we're going to do with it. So I think kind of mapping it out in a cash flow analysis and so on and so forth is probably really one of the best things to kind of combat that constant lifestyle creep that comes in.
How do you tackle the mental side of it, though? The lifestyle creep implies that what you might have 10 years ago thought of as a luxury, all of a sudden, because you've integrated it into your life, it's an absolute necessity you can't deal without. How do you counsel clients to do a little bit of a mind flip on that?
True. I think it's really just having it, in front of your face as many times as possible throughout the year. So that's why we, when we sit together with our clients, we put together a cash flow analysis. We take a look and we forecast their actual income growth so that they know, hey, my income is going to go up by X amount over the next 10 years. But also over the next 10 years, here's what I want to accomplish. Here's my why. Here's what I want to do. And we can actually then structure that into the plan and say, hey, if this happens, here's what I'm going to do to combat that. And that kind of takes that mental, issue out of the equation, where we can just say, hey, here's what we're going to do. Here's what we sat down we're going to do. That might be saving up for a house, maybe, an upgrade of a house, maybe a renovation, maybe a new car, right? So all of those things can be structured into that cash flow analysis. Then we can say, hey, this is exactly what we've planned. Our income has gotten up. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to put X amount away into that savings account. We're going to put X amount away for that car, for the new house, whatever it might be. And the other important thing is to really review this plan on an ongoing basis, right? It's not just putting it in, setting it and forgetting it, but it's taking a look at it, at least on a semi-annual basis, sitting down and actually reviewing, has my income gone up as much as I thought it would? And am I actually doing and executing what I said I would do? So that's usually what we try and do. We try to keep it forefront, and we really try to act as an accountability partner for our clients as well, and say, hey, I know that the shiny object over there seems really, really nice, but remember what we said about a year ago. Here's what we're trying to accomplish.
Do you ever get any client pushback on that? You know, again, you know, some people have the belief, especially if they've worked very hard for a promotion or to change a job, and now they're in, you know, a job where they're making more money, and they're rewarding themselves for all the years of effort they put into that, and they you know this mentality. Well, I'm entitled to my entitlements. I've worked hard. Shouldn't I enjoy my money?
Yeah, Trudy, that happens a lot, and I think it's like anything in life, it's all about balance, right? So I think really what we're trying to accomplish is not to, as an example, if someone receives a $5,000 annual raise, right? We're trying to not say, hey, you know what, that entire $5,000 needs to go here or it needs to go there. But what we don't want to see happen is, you get a raise of 5,000, and then that entire amount goes somewhere else. And then it happens again the next year and 2 years after that, and that entire amount goes somewhere else. So it's really trying to find the balance. Hey, you know what? Yes, reward yourself with something that you've been saving for, that you think you deserve, but maybe not take all of it, right? And maybe split it out a little bit and take something for yourself and put the rest into the savings account for the main goal that we're really trying to accomplish.
I had a conversation with our daughter, and our adult daughter, who
Yeah.
she gets an annual bonus, and she was actually quite. She's a very, very good saver, very disciplined. She was
Right.
actually questioning herself about whether she should take a small portion of her bonus and buy herself a secondhand Dyson vacuum cleaner, because she's wanted a Dyson for years. She's got a cat. She'd get a lot of use out of a Dyson, the efficiency of a Dyson vacuum cleaner.
Totally.
I ended up saying, buy the secondhand Dyson. you know,
Absolutely.
it,
So even the fact that she's saying she wants to buy a second-hand Dyson, right? It's not even like, oh, I'm going to buy the best model on the floor, full price. It just shows that she's on top of her savings, which is great.
yeah, I thought she made the right call on that. All right, thank you very much for your insights on this. Hans Friedrich, financial advisor at Sun Life, managing partner of Evolv Financial Solutions. Thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me on, Trudy.